carry some sort of role, some responsibility, but fail to bring trust from neighboring states or rest of the world. I think, and also you see many nations, including the United States, sometimes they stress more importance of their national interest rather than common interest. Look, Copenhagen Summit about ecology. The very reason, the failure of that summit is the concerned people, concerned government is to stress the importance of their national interest, national economic development, rather than sort of global level sort of interest. So now China, people support China. In order to carry more effective role, respect from the rest of the world is very essential. For that, openness, as you mentioned, transparent, without censor, openness, these are very, very essential. And eventually, rule of law, very, very essential. Democracy, sometimes I have little reservation. Immediate sort of democratic system. It may bring a lot of chaos, like former Soviet Union. So gradual change of democracy, that's democratization. I think that's the most suitable. However, transparency without censorship and distorted information, that's a very, very sort of important matter. Now, so far, that's lacking. So therefore, unnecessary problem with neighboring states, some suspicion, distrust. And within the country, the millions of Han brothers and sisters also is suffering. And also there are other sort of minorities, like Uyghur people and also Tibetan. Distrust, some gap. And the Han people side, it is very understandable. They always is fat, the government propaganda. So I said, they create one sort of, impression. The central government or Communist Party, firstly, liberated Tibet. And then secondly, a lot of money pouring in Tibet. But then you see Tibetan, some demonstrations would take place, then they feel naturally, oh, we're so kind to them, but they never show appreciation. The Tibetans are really backward and stupid. It's understandable. But if you ask Tibetan, very detailed, then you say, there are, of course, a lot of development there, like late Panchen Lama. Just before his certain death, he publicly mentioned, since the Liberation Army come, there's a lot of development there. But the other side, pain, suffering side, is immense. So the positive development cannot match the amount of the suffering. He mentioned publicly. So last now, I think, almost 30 years, a number of Tibetans come from Tibet. We met young people, old people, farmers, nomads, educated, Communist Party member, retired people, retired officials, and party, old party member, and people who are still working. We met a variety of Tibetan. Almost, I think 99% these Tibetan, when we met, tear. A lot of sort of sadness. Why? One example. one Tibetan, I think 5 years ago, I met in South India. He dared to come to Dharamsala.
He did not dare. He did not dare to come to Dharamsala.
Because there are also people say, oh, there are some Chinese spies there, communist spy. So in any way, so there are some indication. You see, anything you see happen in Dharamsala, they immediately receive in some sort of office in Lhasa, like that. So that would be. So in any way, I always welcome any spy from the party. Most welcome. We have nothing to hide. Everything transparent. Like that. So that person, you see, came to see me in South India. And then I inquire about his sort of livelihood, these things. And he is on profession. So his salary, very good. His housing, accommodation, very good. And education for his children, also, you see, very good, no problem. All facility there. Then he mentioned, I'm Tibetan. He mentioned, I'm Tibetan. But mentally, some kind of overwhelming sort of feeling. When he mentioned that, dear. So the Chinese brothers, sisters should know that. Just to provide shelter or clothes or facilities, not sufficient. The freedom is very, very essential. Now there are, since Chen Guiyan, you see, posted as a party secretary, the curriculum in school changed. Sometime back I met some Tibetan who are actually working in Tibetan University in Lhasa. So they told me, till Chen Guiyan come, in Tibetan study, you see, some classical text there. Since Chen Guiyan adopted new policy, all these change. And after all, you see, one party meeting, he mentioned the ultimate source of threat, Tibet being separate from mainland China, is Tibetan Buddhist faith. So accordingly, he sort of laid down some policy in the monastery or nunnery, a lot of restriction, and also the political study, political education. You see, these things happen. So that's the actually seed of 2008 crisis. So, and also, you see, there are a lot of restriction. The party member or officials in their home banned to put some sort of spiritual statues like that. So these are the causes of the problem. So you should know these things. And since the 2008 crisis happened, I always asking, including Chinese government, please send people, some sort of researchers, go to Tibet. And a foreign country also, foreigners. Now here also I want to tell you, those American students, go to Tibet. Even though you may not speak Tibetan, but if you speak some Chinese, it can communicate. Go there and thorough research whether things are as Chinese governments, communist governments say, good, because they're beautiful, or our information difficult. You must, we must research on the spot. I often used to telling publicly, if things are really nice, as party propaganda says, then our information